Hi, guys. Welcome to the Save Continue broadcast. Right, Shanae?
Sinead,
It's a podcast,
you
sir.
know why that
Yeah.
happened?
Because apparently I didn't hop in soon enough.
Right.
Yeah. No. I just figure, I'm going to try to take us through this.
Jesus, take the wheel.
So, yeah, Thomas, take the wheel.
Yeah.
Anything gaming news related or stuff you've been playing that you guys feel you want to talk about before we get into it?
I kind of talked about everything I wanted to talk about last episode,
Sure.
but my name's Shanae Howard.
Yeah.
This is Thomas Shelby.
Fire Emblem fan number 1.
This is Ryan Robinson.
Yep.
Fire Emblem Three Houses fan.
Sure. I mean, what else is there? Fire Emblem Heroes. I mean, come on.
Awakening. And like 6 other Fire Emblem games.
Shadows of Valentia. Pff.
Tom, you sound like a pretty big Fire Emblem fan right now.
No, I mean I like it. I'm not like crazy about it or anything, but I like it. Ryan, anything? You got anything?
No, I pretty much talked about it last week, but I mean, by the time this goes up, I'll probably have finished Death Stranding.
Okay, cool.
So, and Sinead, by the time we see each other for our next recording, it would be really cool if you put some time into that game.
Yeah, I will.
'Cause I have a lot of thoughts and feelings about that game so far, and I want to discuss them.
Yeah, I want to, like I said, we're getting a new TV and then I'm going to play it.
Okay.
So, I've been thinking about doing this for a little bit, and I just think it would be kind of neat. We're not going to talk about video games.
Okay.
We're going to talk about ourselves.
Cool. I like talking about myself.
So,
Mhm.
I figure like there's a lot of people that have listened to the show for a while. Some of you guys for a long while.
Yeah.
And like, what do they really know about us? Like,
Probably not much.
not a
huh?
whole lot.
Yeah. They know
You
we
know?
like video games, and that's about it.
Right.
I'm married and I like my dog a lot.
Yeah, Shanae, I think
Oh,
by now
that's
everybody
it.
is very aware that you're married at
Yeah.
this point.
Yeah. So yeah. I mean, I just figured like, we'll talk about our likes and
Okay.
maybe what, things like that.
That's actually
Good. No, because
Hobbies. Yeah.
That's a really good idea, Tom. Actually,
yeah.
I'm surprised
Yeah.
and pleased
Yeah.
by this turn of events.
So I thought about like, what's the best way to do this? I don't really know.
Okay.
Part of me was like, well, let's go down the list. Maybe we can like all three list like what we've been listening to or like a movie that we've liked recently or something like that. But like, I don't know. How do you guys think we should do this?
I don't know. I think we should just kind of someone start off with, one of your hobbies outside of gaming, and then we'll just go from there.
Okay. So for a long time, I was a member of this book club called the Bookworm Mafia.
Yeah.
Allegedly. And I really miss that. Want to get back to that.
Sure.
So I do, as that might imply, I read quite a bit. Probably not as much now as I used to, but
Pretty frequently, there's a different book on that stand over there.
sure. So yeah, I like that. Like a lot of
Wait, well, can we dwell on the reading part for a
Yeah.
little bit?
sure.
So I think I've mentioned in passing, on a few different episodes that I've taken up reading myself.
Yeah.
Mostly fiction, and well, I think a lot of it came from I don't know why, but whenever someone talked about like spy novels or fantasy novels or science fiction novels, for some reason I had a hard time conceptualizing like what that looks like, because anytime I'd ever like consume that kind of media, it was in a movie.
Yeah.
And I can visualize that obviously,
Right.
but like, how do you write about that stuff, right?
So let's stick with that. What are you reading right now?
So I'm currently reading book 1 of The Expanse.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm about halfway through it. It's a really thick book, but
Oh, well, it's a thick book, if you know what I mean.
yeah, I mean, it's a thick book.
It's got a lot of words.
Yeah, it does have a lot of words. So what I didn't realize going into the book is that James S.A. Corey is actually 2 different dudes
Okay.
writing under the same pen name. And so they're combining their writing styles, and the names of the actual authors escapes me at the moment, but they're writing with two different writing styles together, and it's really interesting how those two things go to.
Wait, so it's
together.
two authors or no?
There's two authors.
Okay.
Yeah. There are two authors working on these books. So the way that, and I can't speak for all of the books.
Oh, but it's not two authors writing the same book.
It is.
Like it's one novel written by
One-
two people.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, so, and I think that the way they broke it up is that each person, so the way that this book is broken up, I can't speak for the other books as I haven't read them, but the way that this book is broken up is the book focuses on two central characters. One is James Holden, and the other is Detective Miller. I don't forget Miller's first name, but every chapter they alternate which of the two they're focusing on.
Right.
And the styles in these chapters are like very distinct. Whereas like James Holden, like he's like former military, spaceship captain kind of guy, and a lot of his stuff like kind of has that feel of like military science fiction.
Yeah.
And Detective Miller's has more of like a noir feel.
Yeah.
And they're very distinct, but they go together really well, and it's really neat. So yeah, I've been reading a lot of science fiction. Lately, and I like it. I really like science fiction a lot.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. Last year, I read Boss Fight's book on Metal Gear Solid, and it's the first time I've ever read a book where it's like one book written by two people.
Yeah.
But like in that book, it's more of like it's almost like a conversation, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Is it apparent that it's written by two people? Like
Yeah, it's Ashley and Anthony Birch, and
Okay.
it's like very much their voices in the book. But
Okay.
yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I like sci-fi novels too quite a bit. I think I let Ryan borrow recently at least a few Philip K. Dick books.
Yeah, and my partner, she says she's really into Philip K. Dick. I haven't seen her read a book
Yeah.
ever.
Yeah.
Do you know if she can read?
I'm pretty sure she can read.
way to call her out there, right?
I'm pretty sure she can read.
But I prefer, like, I really do like just kind of dark, gross books.
Yeah.
Like, I like a lot of Bret Easton Ellis stuff, even some Cormac McCarthy stuff. Like, I like a lot of really nasty stuff.
Yeah. You do like nasty things. Sinead, do you
yeah.
read?
Yeah, I read a lot. I know I read a Philip K. Dick book, but I can't remember which one. It might have been.
Is it the Blade Runner one?
It might have been like the Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep one.
Yeah,
because
it's Blade Runner.
none of the other ones like sound familiar.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember not being super into it, which I found surprising because it was suggested to me. I do like a lot of science fiction. I've talked about it on the show before. I do like some fan fiction. I do.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah. I could tell. I can think of at least one you don't.
Yeah, a little less on the erotic, more on the fan part.
Oh man, you really kicked that camera good. I just now noticed it. Oh, it's fine.
It's fine.
I do like a lot of young adult fiction. I think that in some scenarios it kind of
The Maze Runner.
it like lends itself well to like not having the sexual the aspect of that when it
Yeah.
comes to a lot of like to a lot of fiction.
Yeah.
Like that comes in like the sci-fi drama like genre, like a lot of them, or like when it comes to like fantasy as well. I think like just having less of that sexual aspect, I don't know, is kind of more up my alley.
What's your favorite young adult novel?
Probably the Red Rising trilogy.
What is that about?
I mean, it does have like some tropes in there, but it's the
Like teenagers?
no. So so it's like this like dystopian world where like people are like actual colors. Like there's the reds that are like the lowest class. The golds are the highest tiered. The silver ones aren't normally like have to deal with money. The blue ones are like healers. The pinks are like courtesans and stuff like that. The purples are like artistic types. The browns cook the foods that are normally like nursemaids. And a guy who is a red, some traumatic shit happens, and then he goes under a surgery to pass as a gold and join this like gold battle school basically, and then like
Battle School sounds awesome.
and then
Yeah.
based off like how well he does in the school, which he
Sounds
like
Fire Emblem.
it does sound like, yeah. Other but
Are you talking about Fire Emblem right now, Shannon?
no, it's because this one like you join like they just drop you off on this like planet, and like you'll all have to like, and they're all part of like houses
Mhm.
like of
How
like
many houses are there? Are there 3?
I think there's
A secret fourth, maybe.
like I forgot how many, but like it's like all based off like Greek gods. Like you're
Yeah.
under the house of Juno, or not Greek, Roman. Like say like you're the house of Juno, or like house of whatever other like ones.
You don't want that Ellen Page house.
Sure.
So
A
on
lot of
the
her movies are bad in hindsight. Go on,
wait, what did Ellen Page get in this?
Juno.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was like, I don't. Yeah, like so. There's like different ones on there, and so it's dropped off on this planet, and they're just supposed to like just take over each other, but they end up like. Well, I'm gonna spoil a little something of this,
That's all right.
but to like the first test to join like the battle school where like, they're just battling,
Yeah.
you are like shipped to this like kind of area they're going to be fighting, and then like you're put in a room with like no like just two basically like naked children. They're like teenagers, and then you have to kill the other one. Like you have to bludgeon them to death like with just your bare hands.
Sure. Sure.
And whoever survives then gets to go to the regular school, and that's kind of like the shame of all the golds is that like you have to kill another gold to get into this thing. And like and then like that's where like, and out of like who survives, how you act, like there's like help from like they call them proctors, but the teachers, like some people like unfairly help and stuff, like it's all like combined, but like they have like, you know, like the top people's kids in there, and they're expected to do well. So then after the battle school, they'll go to like different other stuff, like it'd be like fleet commanders or like other
Cool.
stuff.
Yeah.
Hey, is their skin actually the color of their color?
Yes.
Okay.
They're like they have like sigils that they're born with like underneath their skin. So whenever he had to go through the surgery, and like Gold's bones are denser, like they're stronger, like everything about them is like better. Like Reds are like really nimble and stuff, and like they start, because you start off with like being like you find like as a Red where you are drilling into Mars for this like mineral that they were being told is going to help terraform the rest of the universe. Like
Okay.
for a long time, like you and other Reds have been under here, and like you're told that like you're saving humanity and like other people by like toiling away, and there's like pit vipers, and like there's like they have to like be in the drill going down, and like it's just like a lot of people die. They call them like hell divers and stuff like that. And, like you are,
Hey, that's a good game.
they call like you are a hell diver, and like something happens with your wife, and then she's like brutally killed like in front of you, and like other members of your family have all
Well,
died.
let us save some for the.
Well, so this is just the first book. It's like a trilogy, and then like an after
I have to
trilogy.
imagine these books are dripping with racism. Like, just drenched in it.
Between each other, yeah.
If it's done correctly, I'm okay with it. Right? It's like
Yeah.
it's like X-Men, right?
Yeah.
So
That's the good racism.
so then like you find out that like Mars has already been terraformed, like planets across like the entire galaxy have been terraformed. People are living on them, and like you've just been lied to your entire life. Like they're just working you for slaves. Like you're not saving anybody. Like this is just so they can live whatever life they want. And they realize it's like, and you realize how corrupt the society is, like how golds aren't better. I think I said blues are healers earlier. Blues are not healers. They are like this group of like basically like android-like human beings that can connect into ships. Like they're all like ship people.
Borg.
Like they have like a hive mind where they like connect into the ship, and then they all like work together like that way, and they're like have like all, and then
That
like they
Borg,
also
yes.
like later talk about people who live like further in the galaxy, like on the Titan planets and stuff, how like they're a little bit paler than like other people of like their own color. Like the golds are a little paler, like the blues are, and stuff like that. Like how like because your bone density is a little bit different depending on like what planet's gravity you've been like
Sure.
living on.
Hey, Shanae, I got a question. What kind of music do you like?
Yeah, we only got an hour or so here. We don't want to spend this whole time talking about this one book.
Sorry. Yeah. So basically, yeah, we get turned into the gold, and the rest of the books are you trying to overthrow
yeah.
society.
Yeah.
So, music.
Jesus Christ. You and your stories.
Yeah, man, you went off on that.
Yeah. Or like, yeah, like what kind of because you know what, Shanae, I've actually, now that I think about it, like I've never talked to you about music before.
So this is good. We get to know each other
Yeah,
too.
like I don't even know what kind of music you like.
Lately, I've been listening
A lot of new metal.
to a lot of new metal. I got into a Reddit thread. I was talking about melancholy music, so I've been listening to a lot of like Bon Iver, Anne Brune, Ben Howard, a little bit of Ben Queller, a lot of Bens,
No.
Yeah, sure.
Laura Marling.
You know what the funny thing, and you know what the funny thing about, I don't know, is it Bon Iver? Because I also heard some.
Bon Iver or
Is
whatever.
that how you say it?
I don't fucking know. I call it
Well,
Bon
like,
Iver.
it's funny because every time I hear Bon Iver, I immediately hear that dude singing in my head, and I kind of hate it.
That's fine.
Yeah.
And it's not that his music is bad or anything. It's just like it's very, as far as what I've heard, it's like very distinct. So I always hear him singing. It's like that's how he sings, right?
Yeah, like I think of like the Stack song. Stack.
But yeah, like I think because I even rode in your car one time, like I think like we were taking a break at work or something, and like I don't remember if you put any music on or anything.
Well,
I
if it was like if it was from work, then I live right across the street, so I probably didn't put on music.
yeah,
But I have taken you to with Cinnamon to the vet.
yeah, I don't think I was focused on what kind of music you were listening to
Yeah.
at the time.
I was like, yet again, I don't think I had real music
Worried
on.
about my dog.
Well, I also listen to a lot of EDM.
Okay.
So like Keys and Crates, Ugly, Gladiator, just things that just trash people like.
Yeah.
Why is that? Why trash people?
Because anybody who listens to it hates it.
Well, see, here's the thing, and like that kind of goes with like a lot of times when people talk about like shows that they like or music that they like, I always hear the term guilty pleasure.
Yeah.
When it's just like I always hated that because it's just like what you like, fuck it,
Yeah.
you know. It's funny because me and Tom kind of have a shared musical taste history that like diverges like as we both grew up, but we both were really into new metal when we
Yeah.
were kids. Like
So like Radiohead?
Yeah.
You
no, but
idiot.
like we would listen to
we did like Radiohead, but yeah.
we listened to like a lot of Cold Chamber,
Yeah.
like a lot of Korn,
Like bands like that,
Tool.
Soulfly, that
Yeah.
kind of thing.
and just
Yeah.
it's just like that was like pretty much like that carried us all the way through high school.
And then Tommy got into ska, and that's when things diverged.
No, I liked ska before I liked any of that.
Yeah, but then like it's funny because now like our we have some like common interests where music is concerned. Like I think we both have similar taste in rap and hip hop. I think, but I think probably around 2016, I got like super into synthwave,
Oh yeah,
and that's just kind of been my thing ever since.
I've gotten into your
Um,
car and listened to some synthwave.
Yeah, it's like I think that the best way to, because I think that a lot of times when people listen to music, I'm not saying this across the board, but I think a lot of times when people listen to music, they listen to it not just because of the way it sounds, but I think a lot of times they listen to it because of the way it makes them feel. And I like synthwave because it always makes me feel like a badass when I listen to it. It just makes me feel cool. Like no matter what I'm like, if I'm driving somewhere or if I'm like doing some kind of menial task, like it makes me feel cool while I'm doing it, and it makes me feel productive. But I like it a lot, you know. And it's funny because I think that like back when I was like really into new metal, I would have hated it,
Mm.
you know. But like I guess like, you know, as you grow older, your tastes change, you know.
For
Sure.
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 Tom, what kind of music you listen to these days?
I don't know. Like, I feel like it's wrong to say that you listen to a little bit of everything because that's what fucking everyone says, you
Sure.
know?
But it's like it's obviously it's never
Yeah,
true.
I
but,
just
like,
I just listed in the beginning the things I've been on my Spotify list I've been listening to because I got Spotify
Yeah.
again because I got it for 3 months free.
I listen to a lot of old stuff, like a lot of 90s rock.
we were listening to Stone Temple Pilots last like a
Yeah,
couple
stuff
weeks
like
ago.
that. I still listen to like Faith No More and stuff like that. Like that's my jam for sure.
Yeah.
As far as like contemporary stuff, mostly like math rock and like I don't know, random folk bands and shit like that. But-
You were getting really into well, I won't say really into, but like I think that kind of recently you were into some Japanese bands, I think.
There's
like-
some really good Japanese like math rock stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
So yeah, like Trico's really cool. I like them a lot.
oh,
But yeah, I'm
I
sorry.
like Taiko.
Okay, sure. But yeah, it's kind of like that.
Yeah.
I really liked last year. I really liked Lux Prima, which was an album that Danger Mouse and Karen O from the AAS did together. That was like
Mm.
my album of the year last year.
Mm.
I haven't heard anything this year that I like.
Do you guys enjoy making playlists?
Nah,
No.
not really.
Really?
I have.
I used to, but not anymore.
I think I've got like 3 or 4 playlists on my Spotify. Like I've got a Christmas music one that's like not traditional Christmas music, you know,
Sure.
not like Trans-Siberian Orchestra, but like Murder City Devils has a few Christmas songs, like
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Uh,
I had a workout one. I still have it, but I don't work out anymore. But
Yeah.
you
I
know.
I have a couple old playlists I've been listening to because I redid my Spotify. Like I have a background music one,
Yeah.
and then I have an everything else dump.
Yeah.
And then I have one that has like 3 oh my gosh, like Nina Simone and
Cool.
who is the lady who did Blue Gardenia?
I don't know.
Oh god, it's gonna kill me. But yeah, I have a couple like I have like Cinnamon by Nina Simone, and then and then Blue Gardenia, and then Black Coffee by Peggy Lee. Don't know why I have those 3 songs on its own playlist, but I have been listening to them over and over again.
I like to make playlists, especially I especially enjoy making playlists for other people. It's funny though because every time I make a playlist for myself,
Yeah.
it invariably becomes a synthwave playlist
Mm.
every time. So I have like maybe at one point I had like 10 like different synthwave playlists for like different moods, and like within each of those playlists was like a different subgenre of that.
Oh, and then you guys know I love like Jenny Lewis and I love Blondie.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Did you like Jenny Lewis more as a solo act or as part of Rilo Kiley?
More as a solo act, but she's never ever been like a solo act, you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I've been listening to some more a couple of Rilo Kiley songs recently.
yeah, like More Adventurous is a great album, but like I definitely preferred her as she's aged. She's turning into fucking John Lennon, man. Like she's turning into like a fucking rock star. It's weird,
Yeah.
you know. It's weird to watch her grow.
Yeah. What do you guys watching lately?
Not a whole lot, honestly. Like my favorite show is Cheers.
Sure.
I love Cheers.
He's watched that over and over
Sam
again.
Malone is a god.
But I ordered Paranoia Agent on DVD a while back. And I've been trying to track that down for like a decade.
That's an anime, right?
It's a Satoshi Kon anime, so he's the guy that did like Paprika.
Okay.
Yeah.
I really love his shit. So
I've never seen Paprika, but like I think I saw like the poster for it or something,
yeah,
and I was like, this looks like one of those really cool, visually striking films. Is that
yeah,
accurate?
for sure. He does a lot of weird stuff, man. Like we were talking about, like what the fuck were we talking about? We were talking about filmmaking when we were watching that fucking Netflix movie the other night. And you had brought up
like It Comes in the Dark or something like that? It Comes at Night.
It Comes at Night, yeah. And it has a match cut in that movie. So for those that don't know what a match cut is like when a scene ends on a background that is then the beginning of another scene. Like that's a match cut.
Right.
Satoshi Kon does a lot of that stuff. Perfect Blue is his movie. I love Perfect Blue. So yeah, I like that kind of stuff. I like a lot of dark ass shit, man. Like as far as movies go, like I love Aronofsky's movies. You know, like
All of
really-
his movies are bummers.
Yeah,
Yep.
I love that shit.
What about you, Shanae?
I'm just gonna list. Most of the Arrowverse movies, TV shows, except for Arrow.
Yeah.
You're a guru.
What else? I'm trying to think.
Did you see Tom Welling? Oh man, and Erica Durance.
Yeah.
That was
And-
so good.
And I've been actually last night I started rewatching Smallville.
You did?
Yeah. Well, I've watched like the first 2 seasons, but I've never seen anything after that.
Yes.
I think
So,
Tom said that's the
Yes.
like. Didn't you say that's like the best Lex?
Yeah, that's an awesome Lex Luthor.
Okay.
It's really funny seeing CW Lex Luthor talking to OG Lex Luthor.
Yeah.
Gene Hackman.
Because like the one in the Smallville, just
Oh,
because
okay.
because they're
Real
they're
quick,
like
Gene Hackman.
because they're very different, and so they're like, you're doing this,
Yeah.
you did this. This seems like bullshit. You seem like bullshit. Like it was just pretty funny.
Yeah.
As far as like them like and how they interacted, but I just watched Mortal Engines last night and I hated it.
What is that?
It's based off of like a young adult series that actually did really really well, but they try to cram the entire series into one movie.
Oh yeah.
So no plot point actually like mattered or had any gravitas. Like in the movie, basically a Terminator takes care of a small
Okay.
child.
Okay.
So that happens in Terminator 2.
Okay.
Go
And-
on.
And like
I like this.
because this one guy who's in charge of the city that's like on wheels, like all the city, like
So we got Terminator 2 and Snowpiercer.
yeah. But there's like not just one train. There's like multiple cities, and they like fight each other. It's called municipal Darwinism, and like they like eat each other, and like one city will like take in another city, and defeat it,
Municipal
and then
Darwinism.
like, so yeah, it's like
That sounds interesting.
That's like us with Leon.
it's
Valley.
like Howl's Moving Castle meets
I
Snowpiercer
never
meets
saw
Nausicaa
that.
of the Wind
Saw
meets
that.
Terminator.
There we go.
So like yeah, like this guy killed this girl's mom because she found like some old tech and he wanted to use it to like be the best city on wheels, and she was like nah. So he kills her. This girl runs off. Terminator finds her, raises her.
Do
She
they literally call it a Terminator?
no.
I mean, look, he didn't like it anyways, so I don't even know why we're dwelling on
Yeah,
it.
don't know either. Well, he
Okay.
started asking questions. Started asking questions about it. But anyways,
The only question I asked was, "What is it?"
Yeah.
yeah, it's
It's
bad
just,
though.
It's just bad.
It looks pretty, but it's
Where
very
Where
bad.
did you watch it?
It's on HBO.
I see.
Is there any upcoming movies you guys are looking forward to?
Well, I didn't finish what else I was watching.
Go ahead.
That's it.
Are you sure?
No.
You said a few things, so I thought you were finished.
I've been watching that Watchmen TV show.
I want to watch it. I'm sad. I've heard a lot of good things, so I'm really sad that I heard that there is not going to be a second season.
I mean, the way that because I haven't finished the first season, but the way that it sounds, that show doesn't need another season.
All right, cool.
It sounds like season 1, or what the series, I guess, as it stands, is fine, like stands alone, like just fine. But like I really really enjoy that show a lot. It opens on the way that show opens is like really upsetting, but like everything, like all the presentation and everything around it, like all the characters are like really neat. The cool thing, you know what I like about the Watchmen, or like that stuff, is that like it takes like these characters who would be like absurd in any other context, like just make sense, because they're not like they're not superheroes in
Yeah,
that way.
There's no superheroes in the Watchmen except
But-
for Manhattan.
Yeah, but they're people who wear there are people who are wearing like weird like costumes and stuff, and
Which
like
is funny because that exists.
yeah, and like it just makes sense though, and it's
Yeah.
really neat. Yeah, I like it a
And
lot.
that's on HBO as well.
Yeah,
I like
Um,
when shows like they're ended things on their own terms rather
Yeah.
than petering out.
well, because like
Seinfeld could have gone for 10 more years, and they were
Yeah.
like, "No, we're good here."
yeah, because I think like there are shows that just go on for just like too long.
Yep.
And like
Simpsons.
there's like I haven't actually watched The Simpsons in like years.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'm just surprised that it's still on, like it's like on its 30th season.
Supernatural is like my number one on that one.
Yeah.
That's another show. Like I watched Supernatural for like the first 5 seasons or something like
That's
that.
all you need to watch.
And
Don't watch anything
I'm
after
actually
5.
surprised is that show still on?
Oh, it's on this final season right now.
Wow.
I think it's like 16 or 17 seasons.
So. Back to Tom's question. You guys looking forward to anything?
Oh, I just wanted real quick on shows. I also really love British panel shows and quiz shows, and I've been watching a lot of Only Connect lately, as well as Would I Lie to You? And then
What's What I Lied to You About?
so they have like
I think I know what the show is.
so there's a host, 2 team captains, and then they have 2 two additional like celebrity guests on each panel.
Mhm.
So and then they are, depending on the round, given cards or objects with a card that they have to read off, and the other team has to guess if it's a lie or if it's the truth.
Okay.
And so some of them are just ridiculous stories, and you're like, there's no way this could be true. It's a
But
lie.
of course, it's true.
And it ends up being true.
Yeah.
And then there's some things that are like, this sounds like a truth, but it's so boring that it's probably a lie. So like you have to like guess that.
That sounds terrible.
It actually is really funny.
I bet it sounds better than Moral Court.
That's true.
But yeah, no, it's pretty fun.
It's a high bar there.
I mean, if you compare it to a lot of other stupid American shows,
Yeah.
as far as having a bad TV show, I think it's pretty fun.
Cool.
But yeah, no, I like, and then like big fat quiz of the year that happens every year. Really love that. 8 out of 10 cats does countdowns. Pretty fun. Yeah. So I also watch a lot of British TV.
I like a lot of old British TV, but a lot of it got picked up by Netflix and then made worse.
Yep.
Like
Black Mirror.
Black Mirror.
First 2 seasons, all the BBC Black Mirror is awesome,
I
and then
w-
it went downhill real
So
fast.
honestly, the first Netflix season of Black Mirror, I actually liked. This last season of this most recent season of Black Mirror,
I haven't even watched it.
with the exception of the laughs that I got from the Striking Vipers episode, it's just bad.
Yeah, if you don't like Black Mirror but like video games, watch that one episode.
Just watch the Striking.
It's not
Vipers.
good, but it's hilarious.
You know what? I did find the episode that Netflix did with that where you had to like make the choices.
Yeah, so
Bandersnatch. I thought that was pretty interesting as far as like a concept.
Yeah.
The episode I think was decent enough, but I did like the fact that everyone could play and get different endings.
Yeah.
I thought that was interesting. I liked that as a concept. Do I want an entire season of that? No, but I like that they did one episode like that.
I think they also have the Minecraft story mode on there too. If you
Yeah, they do. As far as upcoming, I'm really excited for only 2 movies. I'm excited for No Time to Die,
Yep.
which is the new Bond film.
Yep. Tom, do you think with this, if this is Craig's last Bond, right?
Yes, it is.
And this is also like this is a movie he also meets the brand new MI6 agent, right?
Correct.
You think that moving
Another
forward,
00.
you think it's gonna be more the next series of 00 movies is gonna be her? What do you think?
I don't, but that would be cool.
Yeah.
I don't though. But I love James Bond quite a bit. I have since I was a little boy, and I like Craig's Bond. He's probably my favorite Bond.
He's
so
my favorite too. I think
I'm very excited
his movies
for
are
it.
just so fucking cool.
And then Ghostbusters Afterlife, I'm really hopeful for.
Yeah. People are being really down on that movie.
I don't know. I mean, I've heard nothing but praise, but we're probably looking at different places.
Yeah.
But I'm psyched for it. I hope it's good. I like
Paul Rudd's.
Egon was my first action figure ever, so like I'm down.
Yeah. I wonder if Ernie Hudson will show up. That'd be neat. Probably won't though.
Yeah, I doubt it.
I was really looking. I had meant to see Bad Boys for Life because I was really looking forward to that. But my plans have kept falling through with that. But I'm really looking forward to watching that. Of course, I'm looking forward to the new Bond. Especially after because after we saw Skyfall, like I was like, because after we saw Skyfall, I was like, man, I can't imagine because like Javier Bardem was like. He's my favorite villain of the Craig Bonds at this point, as he's just perfect. So
I like Mads Mikkelsen
well, see, I don't know. It's just because
wiping that eyeball.
Well, the thing about Mads Mikkelsen and Javier Bardem is like it's a competition to see which of the two can be more quietly intimidating.
Yeah, and gross.
Yeah,
and gross. Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm really looking, especially after watching that trailer, I'm really excited for new Bond, and hopefully I'll get to watch Bad Boys for Life soon, but probably not till it comes out on video.
What you got, Shanae?
I don't know. I just looked on IMDb real fast to see if there's anything coming out like movie wise I'm excited about.
Yeah.
Not really.
No, that's okay.
Berto keeps forgetting that he asked me. So Berto keeps asking me, like, do you want to go watch the Birds of Prey movie? Because he knows that I'm a DC fan. And I actually did like a lot of the story arcs, like comic books wise, for the Birds of Prey.
I forgot that movie was a thing.
And
actually.
I just I get why people like her. I get why it's like box office, like people like it.
Yeah.
I just don't want Birds of Prey is not Harley Quinn and then the girls. There's a couple storylines similar to that, but like not. I mean, she's not like the main person in Birds of Prey.
Sure.
And it's a similar problem I had to them calling the Suicide Squad a movie when it wasn't like the Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
it wasn't like there was nothing that they handled that the original Justice League couldn't handle. And
I kind of felt the same way. It's like, why did it have to be Captain America Civil War? You know?
yeah, like I think that's because it was trying to stay like do one story point or point of view of that story of being just Captain America's is
Yeah.
I could at least they put Captain America Civil War like in the title.
Right.
It wasn't just Civil War. Like I would have much preferred if they put Harley Quinn's Suicide Squad or Harley Quinn's in Birds of Prey.
Yeah.
Then just call it that because it's not what it is. It's just not. Like the Suicide Squad is not just, oh, we're going to fix our own mistakes. Because there's no reason that Justice League or anybody else couldn't have helped out in the first Suicide Squad movie. And there's no reason to call this new movie The Birds of Prey. It's just not. And that's a soapbox about that.
I long since
I read comic
reconciled-
books sometimes.
I've long since reconciled the fact that these movies aren't as much for comic book fans as they are for movie fans.
Yep.
Well, there's some things about the comic book movies that I've really enjoyed about them bringing characters that maybe wouldn't have gotten any light to the stage. Like certain characters, like, I mean, they made her a little bit obviously different, but like Domino and the Deadpool movies.
Yeah.
Well, it's like Guardians of the Galaxy. Nobody gave a fuck about that franchise until it was a movie.
Oh, yeah.
Sinead,
I was trying to think of something that wasn't like the like complete MCU.
if you don't like comic book movies, let me tell you about video game movies.
They're worse.
Well, let's talk about that.
Actually,
I mean,
no, not video game movies, but
we
video
all
game
like-
shows. I love The Witcher on Netflix.
We all like comics.
Yeah.
So, like, what do you guys like?
When I read more DC than Marvel as far as that goes. Like if you're gonna do a divide,
Smart girl.
I specifically like.
Clever girl, Tom.
I specifically like.
He's not a raptor.
I could be. And I specifically like more Green Lantern stuff than anything else.
Green Lantern's cool, man.
I really like the Green Lantern Extended Universe. I love the Green Lantern Corps. I love a lot of when they did the New 52, the was it the Dead Justice League or what was it? What did they call the Dark Justice League? And they had like Deadman and Zatanna and stuff like that. I really like a lot of the occult stuff that DC does, like especially with Zatanna because she's one of my favorites.
They did an animated film out of that, didn't they?
Mm-hmm. I recently got somebody's login information for the DC universe and like their approval, and they like put it on my Apple TV so I can watch those movies now.
Yeah.
I haven't really watched a lot of the DC animated movies
Oh, they're so good.
So fucking
because I like the few that I have watched, a lot of them have been disappointing.
good. Have you seen Son of the Dark Knight?
No, but
That one's real
I'm
cool.
specifically talking about Batman Killing Joke. That movie was garbage.
I remember I saw.
I wouldn't say it's garbage. There are bad things about it,
Yeah.
Oh
but
no, I think it's
as a
complete-
whole, I wouldn't say it's garbage.
I would say it's garbage for multiple reasons. One of them being I don't feel like, besides the Barbara shit that I think is just fucking stupid to change, like I've heard just banging out Batman and all that stuff, like it just was completely unnecessary. I don't feel like they really got
Banging out.
the duality of like Batman and the Joker that is in the comics, like
Yeah.
how close Batman to like one bad day he is to being the Joker.
You
How
completely-
many similarities, like how deep he feels his relationship to the Joker.
Don't talk like them. You're one of
And
them.
I don't feel like the movie got that at all. I don't feel like that was the point of it, and I don't feel like they did Barbara as a character any justice in that movie. I think that honestly they sullied the impact of all the things that were done to her.
Okay, so what's something you like?
You should really watch Son of the Dark Knight. That movie's real cool.
So I do like depending on who the author is, I do like some a lot of Batwoman stuff as well. I also think it depends on who they have the illustrator as. I really, really like the more flowy, ghastly looking like art style they do a lot with Batwoman. I love a lot of X-Men series as well. I think like through the decades, obviously like X-Men's been really impactful to a lot of generations.
For sure.
And I really like seeing like when you read a storyline from like say each decade that like is a good storyline from them. I think it's really fun to see the differences through the decades.
So like for Batman, I really like Tim Sale and Jeff Loeb working together. Long Halloween is my favorite Batman, hands down.
I'm surprised it's not Hush.
Ryan likes Hush. I like Hush. I like Long Halloween much better.
Hush is Jeff Loeb too.
Yeah. But and I think they're recently either released or are getting ready to release a Hush animated movie.
Already released.
Yeah. But yeah, I like a lot of like kind of, I don't know if you would call them independent, because they're not really independent, like lower tiered comic books. Like I like
Or lesser known.
Like the Dark Horse ones, or
I
what?
like Y the Last Man.
Oh, I like the Y Last Man too.
Yeah, so that, Brian K. Vaughan, and in general, I like his stuff.
Who did Metropolitan?
I don't know, but he did Saga, and I think Saga's pretty cool as well.
Saga. I never fully read Saga, but like from what I have seen of it and like flipping through the books, I think that Saga's like, as far as an art style, super good.
The funny thing about Saga is I took one look at it,
Mhm.
like just at the art style. I was like, this looks hard, and I just never
not.
read it.
It's not. I like everything that Brian Lee O'Malley has done. So Snot Girl and Scott Pilgrim and all that. Lost at Sea.
I bought you a Snot Girl
Mm-hmm.
comic book a long ass time ago.
And then with the upcoming Toonami Uzumaki animated adaptation, I've been reading a lot more of Junji Ito stuff. But that's really it for comics lately. Money Shot's pretty cool.
I've read a lot of manga.
You know.
As anybody who's listened to the show at some point has heard, I of course love Sailor Moon.
Oh yeah. I
Uh,
didn't know that you read it, but that's cool.
Oh yeah, I've read it multiple times. I read it way more than I've watched the series, and that's one of the things I liked about Crystal is how much more true to the manga it was. Because,
What's Crystal? What is that?
Crystal is like the reboot where they
Okay.
did it much more similar to the manga. Because I did
They
not.
always do that, man. They always do that.
Well, here's something I didn't know.
Like Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood and like Hellsing Ultimate. It's
Well, I
like,
mean, like,
we fucked it up the first time, so we'll
Well,
do
it's
it
like
again.
almost 20 years in between the two, unlike
yeah.
some of the other ones. But what I didn't know until I found out recently, because I started listening to podcasts again, because I recently got a lateral movement in my job to where I'm not on like phones and I can like listen to stuff while I work.
Right.
And I didn't know that they were that she was writing the manga at the same time that the 90s anime was going on. So there was times in the anime, which happens like pretty regularly with a lot of anime now, that they had to like stop or do like a lot of filler stuff. So things did start at not matching and kind of going like off the walls because they didn't have like what she was going to do. And also some of the things that she said she was going to do, the writers and the designers for the anime in the 90s were predominantly men. So a lot of things that they thought that she wanted to do with the girls was stupid. So they just like changed it on their own completely. Like, and we're like, we're not going to do that. So there's a lot of things that are super different. Like in like there's a badass sword that Venus gets in the manga that she gets in Crystal. Like there's a lot more like rough and tumble, but also like feminine. Like with the manga, you get a lot like these girls are in a stage in between like childhood and adulthood, and they're trying to figure out like who they want to be, what they want to do with their life. Obviously, become Neo Queen Serenity of the world is a great option.
Obviously.
But yeah,
that's
like
what I was gonna say was that.
Yeah, I
like-
was thinking the same thing.
like Mini
Yeah.
like
as
Mini Moon
Serenity.
is way less annoying because she also goes through like similar problems, but you really feel like these girls are developing like in the manga, like, and are becoming self-reliant, becoming responsible, becoming like
Sexy female
confident in who they are. Unlike the 90s anime, which is just a lot of fun. It's still a good anime, but it's just goofs. Also, at some point, you know, like a 9-year-old falls in love with a horse, and that's a thing.
Sure.
You know a lot about that, huh?
Yeah, I think
Too
manga is
much.
hard because of like publication schedule. Like you said, it bothers me a lot. Like it's the main reason I've not read much of Berserk is because like that's still going. You
That
know.
sounds cool though.
Yeah, but it's like,
Kill
are you
the
gonna get the
Kickles,
next
though.
one in a year or in 5 years? You don't know.
Yeah.
You know.
But I also like some of the I also think like things like Van Helsing, Gantz that are more like bloody and like hardcore.
Yeah.
Gantz is that movie you told me to watch.
That's the sequel to Ants.
Sure.
Yes.
The G's for gangster.
No, imagine just giant ants just
Sure.
with
with
Kangol hats.
So I haven't really reading comics that much lately, but some comics that stick out to me that I have really enjoyed are I read the entire run of Preacher, which just I think is amazing.
I've heard nothing but good things. I have not personally read it, but I've heard
Yeah.
nothing but positive.
I never watched the TV show they made out of it.
I didn't even know they made a TV show.
I think AMC.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they did do it because
preacher.
Because
Hello,
people-
Preacher.
because people like call. Yep. You're right.
But yeah, I read the entire run of Preacher in like a week, I think. I really love that entire story.
Yeah.
I think Jesse Custer is one of the coolest comic book characters. I also was reading this. I think I mentioned this before. I was reading this comic book called Chew.
Oh yeah, you talked about that one.
Yeah. And for those, if you haven't heard me talk about it, or you don't know what it is. It's about this detective, who can, like, when he tastes things, he knows the story behind them, so he uses that in his detective work. So it's like if there's
It's like a dirty condom. He sticks it in his mouth for a
it's
minute.
just like.
I'm getting something here.
No, but like he'll like if he tastes like a victim's blood, then he knows he has all their memories and stuff.
Sure.
So is it like if he made out with somebody, he would know their entire life story?
So
Or is it
they
like-
never actually like because he as far as I've read, he's never actually like engaged in any kind of activity like that with anyone. So I can't say for sure.
Besides their dirty condom, obviously.
Well, that didn't happen. Tom
Oh, I
is
hoped it
just-
did.
He's ad-libbing. But there is a point in time where he meets another person who has that same power as him, and that person cuts off his ear, and he was like, you need to do this thing that I want you to do, or I'm gonna eat your ear, and I'm gonna know where your family is. I'm gonna kill him.
I like comics that have like weird powers like that.
Yeah.
yeah.
Like I really
That's
like.
why you saw Snot Girl, right?
Well, Snot Girl has no power, but besides bad allergies. But I like sex criminals. You know, it's
Yeah.
like really weird shit like that.
And there's like a character in there who like he doesn't talk. It's just like he makes these like really extravagant soups, and so he's able to communicate with you through how he makes his soup. It's a weird whole thing.
Yeah.
But I
Reminds
like
me
it.
of like some of the powers from like Misfits, I think it was.
Oh yeah, and that's
They just get like random powers. I was like,
that
okay.
that's where.
But not so much though, right? Like invisibility
Yeah.
is normal.
Well, like,
and,
so-
like
I said s-
invincibility.
I
is
said
pretty
some of them.
normal,
yeah. Well, see, that's the thing about Misfits is because what's cool about it is like there are people that have those powers that you would expect, like invisibility or invincibility.
There's that milk guy too.
Yeah, but there's also stuff like that, or that other guy whose power was he just saw everything as a video game.
Yeah.
Well, wasn't there one that like if he bangs you out, like something happens?
Well,
I'm sure.
well,
I don't remember, but you're probably right.
Alicia had that power where if she touches you, you want to have sex with her.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there's that.
That was her first power.
But yeah, I like stuff like that too because I think that like putting like unconventional like powers like that, like especially like when sometimes the power is like a curse.
Well, it's just
Really cool.
funny. It's just so funny, like where we're at with the comic book genre, with superhero genre now, is that like flight's kind of boring.
Yeah,
You
Well,
know,
'cause, like,
like,
so many characters
Invisibility is kind of boring. You know.
because because comic books have existed forever.
Right.
And so like these powers keep getting recycled.
Yeah.
Because like you'll look up a comic book character like on Wikipedia or something, right? And like under their powers, like almost always invulnerability is
Right.
listed or something, or like longevity or something like that. Like there's so many characters who
Super
have the same.
speed.
Yeah, there's so many characters who have like.
But I
have
do
the
love
same
Superman.
Telekinetics.
All that said, I love Superman.
Yeah,
so.
and that's another thing too.
And I love the Flash.
Like I feel like Superman gets so much shit just because
all the Boy Scouts do, man.
yeah. but I
Scott
think
Summers get shit. Leonardo from the Turtles get shit.
But,
All the
like-
Boy Scouts do.
But Superman is a legitimately cool and interesting character,
Yeah.
and he doesn't get enough credit because he has too many powers.
People don't like superheroes that are relatable.
Well, I think it's like they want something like interesting, and they feel like because it's a Boy Scout, they know the story, and it's not interesting because there's other
Yeah.
in other genres there's characters that are relatable. So it's
But
like
like I'll say, even like without that like personality attached to Clark, right? Like there are also very few superheroes with a crippling weakness that everyone knows about.
Yeah.
You
oh
know?
yeah. Like in Supergirl, they bring up the kryptonite thing a
Yeah.
lot, and like how much of a betrayal it is for her,
Yeah.
in like a lot of capacities. And I mean, which that show, tries to like be like, Superman, but Supergirl over here, it's great. So a lot of the things like they do mimic from like superhero stories. I feel like the ones that I have, what is it, Rising Sun Superman? That's like all like imperialistic and evil.
Red Sun.
Red Sun.
Yeah.
Right.
What?
Sun's Japan.
Yeah.
Well, I couldn't remember.
Sure.
Yeah, like Red Sun one. I think like those stories are more interesting. I can say like I've never been a huge Superman fan, but I've never like gone and seeked out a lot of his stories. And I'm not saying that like, I hate
I
him.
think Smallville's gonna help you.
I'm not saying I hate
really
him.
do.
I'm just saying like it's never been my jam.
You will get tired of hearing that "Somebody Save Me" song, though.
Somebody say, I'm already done with it.
I meant to ask this when we were talking about movies that were coming out, but like, do you guys have a favorite movie?
Yeah, my favorite movie, which I do not think is the best movie or even a particularly great movie. Well, my favorite movie is the John Cusack movie "Better Off Dead."
That's a great movie though.
I think
$4, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Or $2?
like
$2.
from like all time favorite has like of like my entire life, like growing up to now, I would have to say like Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Mm.
So why is that why? I want to ask you guys why those are your favorite movies.
What about you? What's your favorite?
Terminator 2: Judgment Day.
Oh, Hobbs.
Better Off Dead is just a movie that I never get tired of watching. I mean, shit, I was little when that movie came out,
Yeah.
you know? And I just still watch it from time to time, at least a couple times a year. Love it. Makes me laugh still to this day, you know?
I love that. John
Get your
Cusack.
testicles off of me. Like, that shit's hilarious,
I like
you know?
my I think everybody's favorite era of John Cusack was when he was making romantic comedies.
Oh,
in
yeah.
the 80s.
And, like, you know, there's nostalgia there. It's a certain kind of humor that we don't really get a whole lot of nowadays, you
Yeah.
know? It's just a really fun movie.
Yeah.
I like French girls, so.
That is true. He's like, how you say, le Tommy.
Yeah. It's just a fun movie. And I like how creepy that whole, like, if you really think about that movie, it's John Cusack's character is a fucking creep, you know?
Sure.
Like, it's
Well,
really
that's,
funny.
that's usually like
Yeah.
I feel like all romantic comedy
Yeah.
male leads are creeps. What about you, Shanae? Why is that your favorite movie?
I just grew up quoting it. Like it's been like a family movie. Like my brother and sister loved it. So we always had a copy at the house, whenever we like had TV and stuff. And then, like as I got older, I got more and more of the jokes. So it was one of those things where like I would quote
That's a
it.
good feeling.
So and then all of a sudden like, oh, I get it
Yeah.
now. There's just like a lot of like with a lot of Monty Python stuff. There's just like a lot of really fun like background characters that are doing shit that you don't like catch like even maybe the first time 20 times you watch it.
Yeah.
Where like because y'all have seen the movie, right?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Unfortunately. It's not my cup of tea.
Yeah, well, like there's like a when in the Bring Out Your Dead scene, like it took me a while to realize that in the background there's just a lady taking a cat, like it's obviously a stuffed cat, and just banging it against the wall, like she's like
Careful,
Shanae.
getting the dust out of it. And I the first time I noticed it, it just cracked me up. Like it's just like in my family we play a lot of card games, like pinochle, spades, things like that, and a lot of times, my sister and brother will just like quote it and crack each other up. It's
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just like at one point I owned 5 different copies of that movie.
Simultaneously?
Yeah, I had like one at my parents' house, one at each grandparent's house, like one that was like a collector's edition, like a nice like thing that I never opened, and like one that I would watch.
I see.
And yeah, no, I had I've always liked that movie. I can still watch it at any point, any time, and I
Yeah.
don't think I would be done with it.
Also, Fletch is a close second.
I can quote a lot of that movie. I think like if we're doing like all time, I think that's my favorite movie.
Right on.
Cool.
That's very cool. So I think that Terminator 2 is my favorite movie for a few different reasons. But first and foremost, I think it's because I think that I think it's a really good best friends movie, and it's the interesting twist on that I think is that like the Terminator technically
Does not care.
he can't feel
Yeah.
that attachment to John.
Yeah.
They try to. There are ways that like that in the movie like Arnold will affect in a certain way that kind of implies that it's there, but like
But it's not.
but he's a
Right.
machine, so he can't actually feel any attachment to
I like
John.
Linda Hamilton has a little monologue about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like she also part of that monologue is like the good that comes from that,
Yeah.
like about how like he won't like get angry
Right.
and hit John.
Right.
I like it, but part of that though is like the way that John has attached himself to the Terminator, and how like he sees himself like as the movie goes on, like you see like it's very much a one-sided friendship because of the aforementioned reasons, but it still almost feels mutual in a way. And I also think that like even though that movie, like as far as like the special effects and everything that are showing their age now, like I still think that that movie is shot really well, and I think that a lot of the action is done really well.
Yeah.
And it probably also has like one of my favorite scenes in any action movie, which is when like near the end of the movie when the T-1000 is chasing them in that liquid nitrogen truck, and then like the Terminator like just gets on the hood of the truck and just like unloads a clip of an assault rifle like right into his face is the coolest fucking thing I've ever seen. And every time I see it, I'm just like, that was so fucking rad. And I've seen that movie literally hundreds of times, but that part always impresses me.
It's a fantastic movie.
But do you guys like, as far as movies go?
Do you own that movie?
Yeah.
Let me borrow it because I've never seen it.
Well, I own it digital now because I'm going all digital at this point. But if you ever want to come over and watch it, I will always be in the mood to watch it.
I mean, I think like that is definitely a better movie.
I need to watch
than
the
either
first
of
one?
ours? You know, like that is a great film.
Huh?
Do I need to watch the first one to get
No,
the
you
second
don't
one?
need
You
to.
don't, but like
The first one is great though.
The first one is a pretty great. So it's cool. The thing about the first two Terminator movies is it's like the first two Alien movies, in which the first one is the horror movie and the second one is the action movie.
Yet again, another series I haven't watched.
Yeah.
I've never watched a single Terminator movie.
Like there are like they'll mention in Terminator. Because as a kid I saw Terminator 2 first, and so there are things that they mention in Terminator 2 that reference Terminator 1. Because you don't really understand, like you're not going to really understand Linda Hamilton's like past with the Terminator,
Yeah.
or like why she's afraid of him or doesn't trust him at first if you haven't seen the first movie. But other than that, like it stands on its own.
Do you
perfectly
understand like how big the movie was though?
Oh,
Because like we were young when it came
fine. Yeah,
out,
that came out in
I know that
91.
it's like
but like
I know it is a pop culture staple. Like it affected a lot of people. A lot of people are really into
it
it.
was fucking huge,
It's
dude.
so fucking.
So I mean, like it's one of those like
Massive.
when I tell people I'm like, yeah, I haven't watched a lot of like staple franchises,
Yeah.
and I have no reference for them besides what other people like have referenced about it. Like I do know that Arnold is a Terminator. I know
Right.
what Skynet is.
Sure.
I know that they
That's
made
just through the cultural zeitgeist.
Right.
like
That
I
comes
know that Skynet made the Terminators.
Yeah.
I know that people made Skynet, and then the machines turned. I know that Scarface has something to do with mobsters and a family and my daughter's wedding. Right? no, it's Godfather. That's Godfather. Scarface is the guy who does all the cocaine and then shoots up and says hello to
Yeah.
my little friend.
Yeah.
I am aware of these
It's a
things
bad movie, by the way.
culturally, but I have never seen them. I know that aliens at some point will fight predators.
Like I remember.
I don't know if there's more than one alien or more than one predator,
There
but
are.
okay,
Many of
cool.
both.
I remember T2 infomercials for like the hand replica, you know?
Tom,
like-
you don't understand how much money I am willing to pay
Yeah, yeah.
for just a replica.
Like
just to have that.
I believe at the time this movie was made, it was the most expensive film ever made.
Yeah.
It was just insane. It was a
And
great
it
movie.
actually would be interesting to see like your reaction to it, Shanae, as someone who's never seen it and would now be watching it as an adult. It would be interesting to see like how you react to it. because there's like a lot of stuff.
But I also give poor reactions
I
or
mean,
over dramatic reactions.
That's true.
yeah, but
She can't watch Michael Scott without wincing.
Ugh.
but yeah, Terminator. There, and if you haven't seen you haven't seen the Alien movies either, right?
I have seen Prometheus, which is probably
It's
the
a
least
good movie.
aliens movie out there,
Still a
right?
good movie though.
A lot of
I-
people like to bitch about Prometheus. I like it quite a bit.
With no reference, I thought it was a
Yeah.
fine movie.
It's got
I
I think Michael Fassbender is the best part of that movie.
I will say this: I was
I
three-fourths
like Shaw.
into the movie watching Prometheus, and then someone was like, "Oh yeah," because it's referencing like Aliens Went. I was like, "Oh, this is an Aliens movie." Like I
Yeah.
went into the movie and watched most of it, not knowing it was related to the other Aliens movie. That is
Sure.
how far removed from the aliens I am.
Yeah.
So, yet again, I think that I will have some grasping of like if I were to watch a Terminator movie now of like, oh hey, yeah, this is the thing, but I don't
I think that
I don't know much
both
about it.
Terminator and Alien are both movies that came out and were ahead of their time, and are just fantastic. And I think you should definitely watch them. You might not get out of. You might not. You might not. They might not even be your thing. But I think you should. Definitely
I think
watch
that
them.
they're probably better than Mortal Engines, and that's a 2-hour movie, and I watched that. So.
Also, watch The Thing.
Sure.
I have seen The Thing, like 2 years ago, maybe a little bit more. But I had somebody like it was on The Thing was like on the like TV, and I was like, The Thing, that sounds fucking stupid. They're like, you've never heard of The Thing, and I was like,
To be fair, that is a very generic horror movie name.
And
but
well, I also
it's
just
a fantastic.
I thought it
movie.
was like a current day B-rated movie from like the pictures they were using. So
Um,
I just like because I
they
didn't read the
do-
synopsis or like the year or anything like or like have like a playing
'cause
trailer.
I'm wondering which one you watched, because there's a 1981 movie and then there's the 2011 movie.
It's a 1981 is the
Okay.
one to watch. So I just saw like still pictures and I was like, this is like a current day B-rated movie. It's probably fucking terrible. And they're like, you've never heard of The Thing, and I was like, nah. They're like, this is a cult classic. Like everyone's heard of The Thing, and I was like, well,
I could name like a few different people who haven't heard of the movie.
and I was like,
understand that.
I'm not one of those. Like I am super ignorant. And so they made me watch The Thing, and I liked the movie, but like
Except-
they were making food and they ended up making something fucking
oh,
terrible.
so you need to watch it again.
They're making terrible food,
Is
so
what
I'm
you're
like
saying.
trying to watch it and just like also just shovel this food down that I didn't.
Yeah.
Want. But I wanted to be polite because they made me food and
Sure.
like
Hope
eat.
they don't listen to this.
Oh, they are not my life anymore, so it doesn't matter.
Shanae, since you didn't like that food, what is your favorite food?
I love pizza and sushi because I'm basic as shit.
What's your favorite pizza topping?
I don't know, man. That's like, well, I'll tell you my favorite pizza.
Okay.
Black olives and Italian sausage.
That sounds good.
So your favorite? Okay.
I think Italian sausage is my fave, but I do love black olives on pizza. And then,
you have a crust preference?
honestly, no. I'm down with flat crust. I'm down with like stuffed crust. I'm down with traditional. Like, I just there's certain things I do not like on pizza, and so if they are on the pizza, I will not eat the pizza.
Hmm.
So if you ever put jalapenos or pineapple on a pizza, just know I'm not gonna eat it.
Hmm.
Because they're things that I feel like even if you take them off, you can still taste on the pizza.
Sure. What's your favorite food, Tom?
My favorite food is probably a barely cooked, flame-kissed ribeye.
Oh, okay. I do love steak.
Like just like
I love steak and I love
just-
lamb.
Just turn the flames on real quick.
Yeah.
Done.
Mm-hmm. That's
Yeah.
probably my
Like,
favorite.
you like
food.
it like blue rare.
I can't think of a food I like more than that.
When's the last
Aw.
time when's the last time you got to have that?
Yeah, like a month ago,
Yeah.
a couple months ago. Not often, but
Do you ever go to Brazilian steakhouses?
I've been.
Is
It's fine.
are those places where they put the meat in front of you and then they cut off the meat in front of you?
Yeah, like you
Yeah.
have like a green and a red cart.
So
like
I have this thing where, because that sounds like what I would call an ordeal, and a lot of the
It's
time,
not.
no.
usually when someone tells me that they want me to go to a restaurant that I've never been to before, I always wonder, is like, is this going to be an ordeal?
So you know what? I dated this one girl, and she was like, "Let's go get fondue." I was like, "I've never had fondue. Let's do that." Fondue's a fucking ordeal. Fondue's not worth it.
I feel
So,
like fondue
what
is a lot of
in-
effort.
What is involved with the fondue experience?
Like you gotta put the things on the skewer.
Get ready to be there for like at least 2.5 hours.
No, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
No, this is so the steak thing though. You get a card for like red and like stop and go.
Yeah.
So like if you want more steak,
Yeah.
just
Right.
have it green. Someone will walk by and be like, "Do you want filet
Yeah,
mignon?"
here's more meats for you.
And you like you say yay or nay, and then if like you say no, then they'll leave and they won't come back. And then like with that particular thing, and then someone's like, "Oh, chicken wrapped in bacon." You're like, "Yeah," and so they just put it on your plate and they move on.
I just love meats
Yeah.
a
So-
lot.
Well,
Yeah,
I
me
normally
too.
tell the server, I'm like, "Hey, we're a big fan of like rare like ribeye and sirloin and lamb. We fucking love lamb." So normally all
Don't swear at your server today.
and then normally at that point anybody who has lamb will make a stop by our
Yeah.
and then we'll just load up and when we're
Yeah,
done
Like,
flip
bring,
it to
bring the lamb guy over here.
yeah, and then when we're done we flip it to red and you're good.
You guys remember on The Simpsons when Lisa decided to be vegetarian and there was that little lamb yelling at her?
Like, didn't maybe I'm misremembering it, but like, and at some point, like, didn't Homer eat that lamb
I don't remember.
or?
Oh, yeah.
Lisa.
Yeah. I thought you loved me. Oh, man.
So Kaylee took me to this Mongolian place.
What's it called?
I don't remember.
Is it PF Chang's?
But it's
That's not Mongolian.
Yeah.
oh my god.
Kaylee took him to Panda Express.
But it was one of those.
Oh,
it
that's
was one of
good.
those restaurants where they
That's
want
too
you to
good.
do part of the work,
Yeah, no, thank you.
which
You do
I
it. I'm paying.
that's what I.
You
What do you
do
mean
it.
by part of the work?
They want you to get up out of your seat. They don't bring you in. They want you to get up out of your seat. Then you have to compile the ingredients. Then you got to take it to.
Oh, so it's like a Who Hot type thing. You
Okay.
put your shit in a bowl and they cook
Yeah.
it for you.
Yeah.
What I
Yeah.
want, Tom, what I want is to show me the menu, and then you bring me the food.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to go over there and bring it to you,
I also
then
love
come back
Korean
to my-
barbecues.
and you bring it to my seat.
I love all Korean foods, but I think that's just from my upbringing.
I like.
I mean, I've never had
I'll-
Korean food that I didn't like.
I say I love like the Korean barbecues because like when you get like this thing and you just gotta cook it all. And you gotta,
Oh, no, you make it for me. I'm not
Yeah,
cooking
just
shit.
like, look, I'm paying
Yeah.
you money.
yeah, but
Right.
this way I get to have it exactly how I want for each bite.
Yeah.
I don't need it. I don't need my experience to be that granular. I just
Mm-mm.
kind of just.
Mm-mm.
I just want to give you them. I want to pick what I want off the menu. You bring it to me. I eat it.
I mean, with the
pay
Korean
it,
barbecue,
and
you
I
still
leave.
pick it and then they bring it to you.
Let me
and
tell you
cook it.
something. Let me tell you something today. If I had like the best USDA ground beef in my house and I could make a burger for myself, or I could get McDonald's and someone else makes it for me,
That's the ticket.
I'm choosing McDonald's.
That's the ticket. That's the ticket.
But like, you know, like with Korean barbecues, like you have this stuff. All you have to do is put it on the grill. So like each bite you have is warm. Like you don't have to worry about
Or-
like with like fajitas. Like some of it gets cold if like you don't eat it like super fast.
See, and I don't want to have to put that much thought into it.
Yeah.
I
you
kinda
make
just-
it.
I
I
like
want to eat it.
I like that it's like it's warm. It's right there. I can just pick it off the grill and shove it in my face.
I just
I like apparently I like our deals.
Okay, look, we're at about an hour, a little over an hour. Each give me one thing that's interesting about you that our listeners probably may not know.
You go first.
I'll go default to the same one I always do. For about 6 years, I was a zookeeper at the San Antonio Zoo for the reptile department. I really like those little critters.
one time when Tom was working there, he sent me a video of this tortoise just menacingly standing in a doorway. And
Like 2 legs standing.
Oh, no.
He was just standing the way tortoises
It's the
stand.
tortoise horror movie.
But like he was standing like in the doorway and just like staring like with that "tonight you" sort of look, and I always thought that was very funny. What about you, Sinead? Do you have an interesting factoid?
No, that's why I'm pushing it off on you guys first. Why
Oh,
do I think
okay.
of mine?
Okay, well I honestly think. and
Oh, I
this-
got one.
And this might be to my detriment, but I honestly think that the most interesting thing about me is the limited edition vinyl records that I have. I think those are the most interesting things that I own. And some of them are quite valuable. And I think and I take some pride in that. So
Nice.
it's a Black Sabbath record. That's the most valuable one that I've got.
I would not expect you to have a Black Sabbath album, to be honest.
I like the Sabbath.
That y'all don't know, because I've talked about a lot of things.
No, it could be something that
'cause I
like
get off
uh,
topic.
They might
Yeah.
they might not know.
I wouldn't say that's the most interesting, but like is something y'all probably don't know
Mm.
is I've been doing a lot of business analytics and data courses and certs lately, like the last month.
Okay. You're trying to better yourself.
Yeah.
It's about goddamn time.
pad that resume a little
You know,
bit.
Yeah.
Work on my Roth savings account and my 401k.
Uh-huh.
And I've just been really
You're
trying.
making it sound real boring.
Yeah.
You're making your interesting things sound real
Yeah,
boring.
you need to spice it up a bit.
I've been really put into my head the idea that I do want to retire at some age.
At some age.
Well,
sure.
it's not guaranteed for any of us to retire at this point. So
Uh-huh.
I'm trying to retire early enough to enjoy it. I'm hoping I can retire at 50.
Can I ask you something?
Would be the actual goal here, but I don't know how well it's going to work out. But I am putting things in place in my life to maybe have that be an eventuality.
Sure.
Without diving too deep into politics, are you one of these people that believes that we won't have Social Security?
I think that there is a high likelihood that Social Security, in the way that we have used it now,
Mm-hmm.
will not be as beneficial. I think that there will be some version of Social Security out there in the future.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't think it's going to be as beneficial or work how it has for the last while. I think that like by the time that we need Social Security, that it is going to be different processes in place, and it's not going to be. I just don't think it's going to be as beneficial.
Okay.
I don't think that there's going to be no sort of security foundation or processes in place. I just don't think it's going to be the same.
Okay.
That's it.
Cool.
I just think that like I can't determine my future based off this possibility.
No
Right.
fate, but what we make for ourselves.
Yeah, I think that like so I'm not counting for it if
Sure.
it happens and it's beneficial and I can
Well, I
take
mean, you're not going to retire on just Social Security anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Like I'm hoping to like actually retire and like travel and do things that I want, maybe like get with certain foundations and like I've joined a bunch of groups of like financially independent, retire early, or like fire groups and
Fire group.
yeah, it's what they So like financially independent, retire early, FIRE. So that's kind of where I want to be in like the next 20, 25 years.
Well, I believe in you. I think.
Yeah. They listen to a lot of Busta Rhymes,
Yeah.
that group.
But yeah. So my interesting fact is that I'm not interesting and very boring.
I don't think that's
Shanae,
the case.
I think that you are very. Well, I don't think interesting is the word to describe you. I think peculiar is probably more apt.
Yeah, fair.
I think you're a very peculiar person. Shanae.
Mm.
Uh,
Okay. Well, thanks for entertaining me this week, guys.
Honestly, I think I would like to do this again.
I just think we were overdue for it.
Yeah.
I would like to. I think every once in a while, we should do this. We should do another something. Not this exactly, but maybe something similar.
Not too often.
I said every once in a while, Tom. Not
Yeah.
frequently.
So you can find us on most
How do I mute you?
most podcast apps. We're on the YouTube. We have a Discord channel, which will be linked on something.
Yeah.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye.